When we talk about cultural change, and this is a really hard topic, I hope this comes across okay, but women are so angry at the moment, and I feel that, and I understand that. But what I fear is that there is a further isolationist approach. I'm not sure whether that's the right word, but men feel like, and this is about women, but it's about men in many aspects as well. Men feel like they can't say or do anything that's right at the moment. There are generational differences in attitudes and how we grew up and our different experience that we all come to this in a different way. What is your advice on that front? Speaking to the men in our lives, but acknowledging that there are men who have been part of the solution, and that is so critical.
It's absolutely critical, and we need more men to be part of the solution going forward. And I think we absolutely need to be having those conversations.
And they overwhelmingly are, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Most men don't use violence. Most men, there are very many good men who want to contribute, and I think are often nervous about how to speak up. I think one of the things I think is a really good strategy around that is men talking to other men. I think we've got some really good things like Man Cave going in and talking to boys in schools, what Movember do in terms of getting men to talk about health issues that they don't really like talking about. We've got to start young, getting men and boys to talk about how they feel about things in a way that we haven't historically been very good at, and we need to welcome them into the conversation.
And to be quite frank, there's a real identity issue here. We're kind of the first generation where women are working, women are becoming the breadwinners more often in their household. There's a change in that household dynamic, isn't it? So I think that's quite unsettling for some people, and how to navigate that. I mean, I don't have the answers here, but perhaps they're good things just to discuss and acknowledge and get out in the open.
I think they're incredibly important things to discuss and get out in the open, and to get some help with how to have those conversations, because we're seeing some very significant changes, and as that happens, we've also seen some backlash that women have experienced. So we have to acknowledge that those shifts are happening in a way that enables people to come along with us. We need boys to be having conversations about what does it mean to be a healthy masculinity? What does it mean to be a good man, and to have good role models for that, and to be proud of that. There's nothing wrong with being a man. There are a lot of very good men.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. What has been on my mind as well is that the very worst cases that have triggered many people over the last couple of weeks and months, and perhaps even longer than that, what seems to me is that central to that is a mental health crisis as well as a domestic violence crisis. I don't think that's being talked about enough. Now, your remit is huge, so I don't want to pile more onto you, but there's something in that, isn't there? There's something the government needs to look at. I mean, I think the health portfolio at a federal level is so big, and the state and federal have different responsibilities, that I think there needs to be a standalone mental health minister in cabinet going forward, because this is, almost it's not a modern issue, but it's become a modern issue because we're more than well aware of it now.
Mental health, drug and alcohol use, problem gambling, poverty, homelessness. There are lots of factors that need to be considered when we think about how we're going to tackle family violence. It's not a standalone issue. It does cover every portfolio, and we need every portfolio stepping up and contributing to what the solutions are.
Thanks so much for your time. It's really good to see you, and this is going to be part of an ongoing conversation, so we thank you for having it with us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Micaela.